They say it comes back every 23rd spring. Not for revenge, not by accident. It wakes up just for 23 days and it starts to hunt. And you're not going to hear it coming. You might see something in the sky, a shadow too big to be a bird. But if it smells you, if it decides there's something about you it likes, your eyes, your lungs, your heart, then you're dead. It doesn't just take what it needs, it takes what it wants. And it won't stop until it has it. Some say it's ancient, but one thing's for sure. Once it's marked you, there's nothing you can do but run, and even that won't save you. Darry's curiosity soon turned to worry as the truck with the license plate "Be Eating You" was spotted by an all broken down church with somebody throwing bodies wrapped in sheets down a drain pipe. Seemingly stalked by this creature, Darry's worry grew far worse as the night progressed. Enjoying the scent of fear way too much, the creature did not let Darry out of its reach. I read some time ago, sorry I'm a bit sick so if I sound nasally it's why. I read some time ago of the eyes being the windows to our soul. Now this isn't the time to tell you if I agree with that. It's a packed question of which I don't know a whole lot about, but if that was the case, then I would see this scene being symbolic of how much the creeper did actually want Darry Jenner's soul.
Hey, that's your car out the pumps, isn't it?
Is it a man? Is it not a man?
Folks saw him from the window. The man there at your car.
Description painted for what it wasn't.
He was standing there.
Nobody expected it to be what it is.
Sniffing that laundry.
Why did the creeper want the most expressive part of somebody experiencing dread, which we know would be their eyes? And would lead me to believe that the creeper actually allowed Giselle to communicate these visions to the two siblings, knowing that it would only make their fear grow out of control. In the first Jeepers Creepers, there's a moment almost nobody talks about, due to it being a deleted scene, first off, but there's two missing children posters tacked onto the walls of the police station. They're never mentioned, never found, just quietly gone. And the implication is that the creeper took them. But why? It doesn't just need organs because we know it chooses them very carefully, which gives me this awful feeling that there is something more potent about childlike fear to this creature. The kind of terror that doesn't understand what's happening, only that it knows that it hurts and it won't stop. Just pure helpless dread. Which will lead us into the opener of the second film only a few days later. The creeper posing as a scarecrow, knowing that young Billy Taggart would be sent out to check that they are all properly tied to the pole. I remember making an argument to this in a video a couple of months ago, and I said that the only reason the creeper chose Billy's brain was because of his memories and how much he feared the creeper, which I believe would be evident through the visions and the flashbacks including Billy. The human body undergoes a chemical storm when it's afraid. Adrenaline, cortisol, endorphins, dopamine. Fear isn't just a feeling, it's a reaction. A flood of potent neurochemicals that surge through your blood. They saturate the organs and they would change everything from your heart rate to the way your brain functions. So what if the creeper isn't just harvesting flesh? What if it's harvesting chemically enhanced meat? If being afraid is more enjoyable to this creature, technically the only reasoning that could be is that the organs have been flooded with stress hormones, because that's known to linger in tissues and blood. Scientifically, we know adrenaline, formerly known as epinephrine, it does in fact flow through your veins. Fear triggers stress hormones and they impact various organs like the brain, in the case of Billy even, the heart or the liver, which could be the person that killed in the police station. These are things that the creeper could be hunting for. So let's say it this way, if smelling fear is actually detecting a neurochemical cocktail, that's what's making the human body more potent. So rather than us seeing this as just an attack on those people who are scared, it's more primally interested and hungry from a more flavorful and biological sense. Do I sound like a serial killer? I think I do. Look, the more terrified a person becomes, the more chemically charged their organs become. So to the creeper, that actually might be like seasoning the meat from the inside out. Like it's some sort of sick Gordon Ramsay special because it wants you to be marinated in fear, so to speak. Like it's an emotional energy. You know, like when a person is terrified, the nervous system goes into overdrive. And I feel like a hippie talking about emotional energy and vibrations, bro. But the creeper could be some sort of ancient being that doesn't just feed on flesh and blood, but the vibrations of human emotion. Oh my god, I feel like I'm going crazy. Interestingly, the director has even described the second film as kind of a post 9/11 parable. The creeper becomes this unknowable force that's coming from above, ripping apart a small self-contained world, which in this case, which would be the bus. Much like how a peaceful sense of normalcy was lost in real life, just like the movie, those who survived weren't always the strongest, but the ones who stuck together. It was basically about the outcasts being the ones who come out on top. I was going through the oldish interview type documentary and the director spoke about this, and I'm not really sure if it adds to the creeper's mythology, but part of me has a feeling it does, because the interview highlighted that the 23 days exclusively to feed and only 23 days were purposely written so the character couldn't be like Freddy or Michael. There wouldn't be any Jeepers Creepers 5s. It only had 23 days and we see it for one day, nothing else. But eventually he was talked into expanding into a film which did fit into the whole 23 days thing. But the most important aspect we know about this creature being its life cycle, we now understand was only a safeguard so they didn't ever think about making a sequel. This monster was told to be a lot different in the second film because there was a removed scene from the script and it describes the head coach, which we know was taken away by the creeper, being heard screaming for help somewhere outside the bus, roughly around the field by the sounds of it. And after the students argue about who's going to help him, a group did decide to leave the bus, only to see the coach with his arms waving back and forth for help, but then the camera would slowly pan back a little bit and it would show the creeper with its claw inside of the coach's body, using it like a ventriloquist doll while also doing the coach's voice. So we know that the original script wanted the creeper to pertain the gift of ventriloquism. So in putting things together, ventriloquism, this creature looks somewhat human, knows how to act quite human, but in its intense moments has pig squeals. And yes, the creator did confirm that the scream we hear from the creeper is like a pig. I think the only chance we would have had for all of this stuff to be explained would have been if they didn't scrap the third film. It was technically number 3, but it was technically also number 1.2 as it followed up the first film and was apparently even hailed as the most interesting of all of the 3 scripts. It was supposed to follow a young girl as the main character, I would imagine similar age to Trish, and the film would be the creeper heading north to wherever it decides to disappear to at the end of its cycle. But of course the second film would still be the ultimate ending because that's where the creeper ran out of his 23 days. This film would just be total devastation to a farming community it came across on its way. If anything would tell us about the creeper's origins, I think that probably would have been it. Just to clarify, I don't necessarily believe this creature feeds off any vibrational energy, but it is a possibility. The truth is we don't have much to learn about this character, like anywhere to go and try and find out. The best we have is watching long documentaries and hoping that there's some sort of segment of something where maybe the cast and the crew are talking about it, but it seems like nobody went on record to add to the creeper's lore. It's honestly a little bit strange. The comic book version did take things a little bit further than the films ever did. Supposedly they say the creeper absorbs the souls of all of its victims, cursed by the devil himself. Maybe a deal may have gone wrong. Truthfully, we might never know, and I don't think a future film will ever give us any answer. I feel like if there is a film in the future that talks about it, I think they're just going to kind of come up with something before the film is made. I don't think it would have any connection to the original film. Although I'll say 8 years ago, a Reddit user did chime in with a great idea of exactly what this monster might be. Based on the creeper's rules, every 23rd of spring for 23 days it gets to feed, and the creeper appears to have ties to the Wendigo from Native American folklore. And according to information from various hunters such as the Winchester brothers from Supernatural, Wendigos are made when people are forced to commit cannibalism to survive. The consumption of another human would grant them power, but they become addicted to it. If Jeepers Creepers was about a Wendigo, then this particular Wendigo would appear to be active for a very long time, and obviously has lost itself to all the cravings, where it seems to enjoy its curse. Perhaps it was born of a hunter who enjoyed the chase, or who loved the smell of fear from its prey. This is one of the more favourable, ambitious guesses, so we just really can't say anything outside of it being just an idea. But what I do know is, us horror fans do love to theorise, and maybe sometimes when I'm watching a film I can see when there's a bit of semiology, or if there's like signals or signs they're trying to have the audience understand. I can say Jeepers Creepers doesn't really have many of those. My belief is that though they didn't show the missing children posters in the original deleted scene for no reason, I do think it had to be on purpose for some reason, I don't know. But it's all theories, and your opinion would be as good as mine if not. probably better than mine. I do know, whatever this creature is, that it still terrifies me, and I can't tell you the last time I would have watched it at nighttime, at least on my own. I have always seen this villain as dangerous as any villain in a horror film could be, but I would like to hear you sound off in the comments if it's a topic you want to talk about. Honestly, as someone who talks about horror films, seeing comments and discussions on the short videos or the long form videos, it just feels very nice. I'm very grateful to have them. So I think it's up to you, the viewer, to take what you take from this. I only really make this video because it seems like this question and this topic is just as relevant as it's ever been, because we all want to know, and I wish there was more information we could go over. Hopefully we can journey through theories and one day maybe even figure it out.